to Not Take Action by Uncle Nainoa Thompson. We chose this because our theme was Kuleana and not just about aloha aina and malama kekai, but mostly focusing on how it'll affect our future activists, our keiki. And so the modules we referenced back was Eola na Uiwi, Kapulina, and Eola ka Honua. So Kuleana is vai. What is Kuleana? Kuleana is when Kanaka, not only Kanaka Hawaii, but all people in general respect and own their values from their past, present, and future with pretentiousness. Pretentious.
How can you continue to cultivate your kuleana? Reference back to the mo'olelo of your kapuna, aina, kai, and kula iwi. Ask yourself, what will our honui be 10 years from now if I do not start contributing my kuleana within the community?
And so one thing to remember is to always kokua na keiki ame makua, ame kupuna, ame hoa, and ame ohana. So not just the next generation in general, but all people.
Instead of hearing and wishing that our honui was more improved, take action, make it happen, and that is when you do not have to wish no more. I forgot to, okay, second. Okay. So what are some ways Kanaka Hawaii today are doing in order to contribute their kuleana within their...
Oh, Nicholas, I think you have to go to the slide back.
There you go.
Oh no. Restoring or thriving natural native ecosystems, for example, lo'i kalo, loki ina, and traditional dietary and gathering methods. Educating the youth, make sure that our keiki are able to have the opportunity to be active within their community, creating more interactive activities based off of learning about the history of our people. For example, Hāloa. Continuing to pass on the mo'olelo of our past, present, and future history. For example, learning about traditional communities, ceremonies, and customs of our kapuna. So the reason why I put these pictures in was because I went to Iolani Palace a few years ago, like learning about the history of like the palace itself and the Hawaiian monarchy and history. And then we went to Bishop Museum for more information. Why are these examples such an impact on the history growth of Kanaka Hawaii? Restoring or thriving natural native ecosystems. By restoring our native plants or species from our home, aina, Kanaka Hawaii will walk around consistently being able to see this reminder. Being able to notice the opio and oha sproutings from the makua, being able to see their way that flow in the streams thrive, being able to have the welcoming of gathering ina from their ohanas lo'i ina, and many more. This reminder is telling your people that your aina, kai, and lu'ia needs to be and stay forever remembered as part of honui, who never stops thriving. The ohe of a kalo is as if your very own keiki. It is your or our kuleana to make sure that they can kukula to strong and healthy beings. Educating the youth. Educating our youth or keiki is one of the most major roles in continuing the culture of Hawaii within their people. That's how their legacy will everlastingly be remembered. From a youth's perspective, I feel that once not being taught not to do something, I will never learn from it. Same as for keiki. The purpose of why keiki here today are now learning about who they are as Kanaka, their kula genealogy, and their ohana is. Because we want to continue to pass on all of the ike and mano that has been fed onto us by our kupuna. Without education, there would be no curiosity within our people.
So for this slide, I wanted to mainly focus on pictures because I know a lot of words can overwhelm people. And so I used pictures from the past of my experiences. And so our kuleana can affect our future lives because whether you do or do not contribute your responsibilities within your community, it will affect the outcome of the way of life for our Keiki Lahuin Foundation. So as a growing homeowner, I'm gradually learning, especially during this pandemic, why the word kuleana plays a big piece in our honua. And so kuleana by itself could mean aloha, malama, ike, or mana'o, but the most vavai aspect of this word is to make sure that our keiki will have the opportunity to step on and further know the grounds of our history. Ask yourself, what would Hawaii look like if they did not take action within their honua? That means they stopped growing lo'i kalo, taking malama for the local i'a, and not paying attention to the effects of climate change, and not having the thought of benefiting the lives of our future activists. If our lahui did not start now in contributing their kuleana within their people, it will be the first time in human history where our people cannot promise clean air and water for the next generation. And some of these notes I recorded was from the Mana'o Mauna from December with Uncle and Akila. And so will we still be able to see these cultural practices and traditions alive when our keiki are alive? How will they know how to continue their kuleana for their keiki? Without kuleana, we cannot observe and learn from those we cherish. Learning was a way of life. If we cannot carry this way of life unless we continue to follow our kuleana, this is why, because our keiki can ho'olohe maka'ala. The word learning to Kanaka Hawaii defines growing more into their kula iwi, identity, traditional practices, and the significance and values of their people. Without this way of life, kuleana, there is no Kanaka Hawaii. Kanaka Hawaii are those who thrive as one, not those who give up. So as a Kanaka, it is my kuleana to carry on those values so that our honua can thrive with what our kupuna once provided for us. Next slide. Taking action. The only way to take action is to become your aina. The greater risk is to not take action. Uncle Nainoa Thompson stated this, that others know that our Mother Earth cannot survive without our hard work and dedication of benefiting the lives of others. Taking action means to educate our keiki, makua, or kupuna who will not be able to have the opportunity of seeking their culture. If our kupuna, makua, and keiki, or even you were not educated and reminded of the values and gifts Kanaka Hawaii hold, our minds would not have the desire of wanting to learn and discover something new. For example, if a lo'i kalo former found his or her compassion as a keiki for kalo forming, he or she can pass on their knowledge that they seek to the next generation, and that generation can pass on the same ike mana'o they received as haumana to their keiki. This constant chain of passing on shows how to pass on the experiences you were able to be included in, and the ike that you received, and that feeling of a malama and aloha that you felt, so that the next generation will be able to carry on that same passion. And without this way of reality check of who we are, where will we be, our aina kainohana, being 20 years from now, 50 years, or even 90 years? Become your aina. What would you want to see? What actions would you want to be done? As for haumana, I encourage others to get more active. The only way of the healing of our people is the healing of the world. Start learning who you are and what you can do next. We cannot confine ourselves because of time. Next.
Mahalo nui lau. Thank you.